If you want to break into tech sales, if you want to become an SDR, maybe you are an SDR and you want to get better at becoming an SDR because you haven't really been successful, this video is for you. So let's jump right in. So, how do you have success as an SDR? How do you break into tech sales? And really, what does that look like? So, in this video, the day in the life of an SDR, kind of just want to show how I kind of go about working and what that looks like for me, and hopefully that resonates with you, and hopefully you learn something from that. So the job of an SDR, let's answer that. The job of an SDR is to set up meetings. That's really the job of an SDR, and that's what most SDR positions are looking to hire SDRs for, right? Now, I know it might vary company to company. Some companies just might want you to do lead generation, where you're prospecting on LinkedIn and all these other platforms and finding potential clients that are interested in set up a meeting with your account executive. That could be it, right? But in my job, and what I made sure of doing before I even got the job, is to find out, how do they get their leads? Are they going to be providing me with leads? Or am I going to be sitting there making tons of hundreds of calls a day to see if someone's interested, right? Cold calling, which I think cold calling works, but if you just go in there with no strategy, you might be like shooting yourself in the foot, because you might be there making a ton of calls to people you don't even know. And if you don't have the skill set and your skills are not that good as a sales rep, then it's going to be really challenging, right? And we can talk about strategy and all those things and how I go about my day in a bit. But so you want to know that up front, right? If you're applying for a tech position, a SDR position, you want to ask them, how, what is it that you guys are holding me to? Am I going to be calling? Am I going to be on LinkedIn all day? So on and so forth. Try to find that out, because I think that will give you the confidence to show up better on your day-to-day work, right? So for me, I think to have success as an SDR, you need to have a good amount of strategy, right? You don't just want to go in there and hammer 100 calls a day, right? Because if you do, you're gonna be more on the phone. You're gonna be on the phone for hours, probably the whole day, and you're gonna be working so hard for no reason. So me, I like to talk to people I have already been spoken with, and kind of showed interest. So I'm gonna be going through the cadences on Sales Loft, and looking through the leads and looking at the history of it. Like, this person, did someone already engage with them? If they did engage, what was it like? Maybe they just followed someone. They put some that to call them back at another time for someone to follow up. I'll probably start talking to those people first. People who want to be followed up with. Why? Because they're already interested. Maybe they were just, when they got called the initial time, it wasn't a good time. So those are the people I'm looking at. In other words, I'm looking for leads who are a little bit already warmer, right? Because the probability of them wanting a meeting is probably going to be a lot higher than someone that I just cold called, right? So I'm looking for leads who are warmer. So it's not just about going in there and making a ton of calls. It's about going in there and doing some research of the database of your list, of your cold call list, or your lead list, and seeing who's already been talked to. So that's the strategy, right? Going in there strategically, finding for the right people, even within your list. And if you're talking to people who already have been engaged with, and they said, it's not a good time to talk at the moment. Maybe they are interested, but whoever called them the initial time wasn't a good time. They're like, call me back later. Those are the people that you want to kind of be like a hawk and call them, right? Rather than calling this list and just attacking it and just hammering the phones, right? Now, you could do that later throughout your day. Like, once you set up 1-2 meetings in your day, right? You can, once you set up a couple of meetings in your day, you can go back to that cold call list, just to kind of show that you did the effort of making the 180 calls, or whatever the number is that they're holding you to. So that's the strategy part. Don't just go in there and hammer the dialer and the phones. Go in there and do some research within your list, your lead list, and your cadences, and look at the history. Like, where they followed up, where did they talk? Was it they are interested, but it's not a good time? And if that's the case, whoever is warmer, those are the people you want to engage with first, right? Let's see what else we could talk about. Let's talk a little bit about how to handle rejection and keep a high motivation. So this is probably one that I've seen online and on YouTube, and people kind of talk about. People get discouraged because they probably called 50 people, they probably call 100 people and they see no results. And I've seen some of that in my company. I see some other SDRs do like hundreds of calls, and the call to like meeting ratio is so far apart. It's like they did 100 calls and they still haven't gotten a meeting. And I think if we go back to what I was just talking about right now, implementing the strategy, that's going to be a big game changer. But to really stay motivated and deal with rejection, there's three things that I've learned that you need to have. And really, I'm not like coming up with this. I took this from Myron Golden, who's like a coach that I listen to online a lot, and I like his stuff. But you need three things. You need mindset, you need skill set, and you need tool sets, right? So the mindset is really just understand coming in, even before you show up to work, coming in with like, no matter what, I'm going to get a meeting today. Just coming in with that, like, that killer instinct, that motivation, that you're going to do this, right? Especially if you're new, because you don't have success and you're just starting out, you're learning how to do this. So, you know, it could be a little bit like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. There could be a little bit of fear or just like being a little bit nervous if you're going to be able to do it. So the mindset is important, right? But mindset is not everything. I've been part of sales organizations where people just hammer mindset. Like, it's kind of like a MLM type environment where like it's all about hype and no matter what, we're going to do this. And like that stuff is good. But if that's all you have, your mindset's not going to get you there. You need skill sets, right? So that's when like the sales comes in, like the sales script, knowing how to sell, right? You got to know how to sell. And maybe I'll add a sales script in the description. Not a sales script, yeah, like a document where I can share with you guys. But when it comes to the art of selling, really there's a few things you need to know, right? And I can go into like the intro, the reason why you called, and the value prop, and then the closing or whatever, the ask, and you know, I can go into all those. But really the one that's the most important is value prop, right? You gotta bring value, and how you propose value is super important, because I heard it said that sales is about what's that quote? I heard it said that sales is about like Hermosi says, like create an offer that an offer that's so good that people refuse to say no to. And I think that equates to like value prop. When you come in, you bring a good amount of value, and how you communicate that value is so important. So like, I'm in tech. A lot of what I sell here, really, for lack of better words, helps business owners helps business owners save time, energy, and money. So I know that for people who are in business, that's super important, because no business owner wants to spend more money. No business owner wants to put more energy into doing things, right? And then no business owner wants to put more time into it as well. So if I'm able to save them those three things, time, energy, and money, that's a value prop that to most businesses or business owners, they're going to be like, yeah, we need that. So how you frame your value proposition is super important, right? So a great tool that you can use, remember, mindset, skill set, and tools. So that's the skill, right? The selling, right? Just being able to set up that value prop. Now let's talk about the tool set. The tool set that we can use is ChatGPT. So if I were you, if I'm new to sales, to an SDR position, to a sales position, I would go to like the website of my company, right? And look at what is it that they offer. What are their offerings? Grab the offerings and put that into ChatGPT. Copy, paste that into ChatGPT, and write, what is the value prop, or what is like the heart of what is it that we offer? Like, what's the solution? And how does that resonate with the target market? And who is the target market? Finding out all those things. So that's the tool set. ChatGPT can help you get to that point, because a lot of this is really communication. Communication is one of the highest paying skills, right? Because communication is not just you communicating and saying, it's also the audience understanding, right? So if you use ChatGPT, grab the offerings from your guys' website, see what you guys do, copy paste that to ChatGPT, and then prompt ChatGPT to like, how does this message resonate with our target audience? Who is our target audience? And ChatGPT comes and starts laying all those things out, and then you just fine tune from there, right? What is it the value prop is? Again, for me, I realized that the value prop here at our company is saving time, energy, and money, right? Now, there's other companies that, you know, provide a similar technology to our market, but then you find out what is it that sets you apart within that niche, right? And what I found out at my company is that the thing that sets us apart from all the other competitors is that we have a dedicated team. We don't just have a call center, right? We have a dedicated team. That's kind of what makes us stand out at our company. So I'm going to highlight that as well. So then when I'm talking to the prospect on the phone or to the lead, I'm showing up with a good value prop, an offer so good that they refuse to say no to. And I think that's going to be the game changer if you're trying to break into sales position, tech sales, and become an SDR. You need to show up like that. You need to show up the right way, because if you don't show up the right way, then it's gonna be hard for you. And that goes back to the strategy, goes back to the mindset, the skill set, and the tool set. You need all these things to really be successful. Now, another thing I like to do, and I'm not sure if I've mentioned this, I might have, probably forgot, but I like to look at the marketing. If we're getting inbound leads, I want to see the marketing, because if people opted in or submitted something on a landing page from the company, and that's how we got the lead, I want to pick up and show up on the call based on what sparked the lead's interest, right? So that's another thing too. I kind of want to make sure that I'm not leaving this up to my company as an SDR to tell me these things, right? I'm taking it upon myself to understand, dig, do the research, because that is part of the job of an SDR, is to do the research and be very thorough. And after you collect all the research, just come up with the value prop and just show up the right way on the phone call. If you do just a couple of things that I've mentioned already, you're gonna have a lot of success. And now let's kind of move to the conversation of like tools, right? I think the tech stack, the tools that we use, that helps. I don't think that that's gonna make or break your quota, right? But it does help with workflow and efficiency and moving and being able to move fast, and being able to kind of just go through everything a little better and keep yourself more organized. So we can talk about that, right? So at our company, we're using Slack for communication, but also some live leads are kind of integrated with our partners. So we have 3 channels of leads, right? We have like our partnership leads, which are from like our partners that refer them to us. Then we have like direct traffic, which is another phone line that we have called, which is an app called AirCall, which is just traffic from our online website. Maybe they put our website on like Google Ads, so people are calling in right there and just answering those phone lines. I can get leads from there. And I also have like we have like email campaigns like through platforms like Seamless AI or Sales Handy, where we blast thousands and thousands of business owners and businesses in email, and then a couple of people say, hey, I'm interested, they respond to the email, and those leads come in. So we're using all types of platforms and stuff like that. So I can show you guys a little bit here. So this is kind of how I have my computer open most of the days. I have my my cadences here with Sales Loft, right? These are all the leads that I'm calling every day. I also have Slack open here. Slack, I usually have two windows open. I have like the main Slack window open here, but then I have this one, which is where all our live leads come in through, right, from our partners. I also have my AirCall app open, which is this is another phone line that we have separate and apart from like Sales Loft, because again, direct traffic comes here from our website, and if a client is interested, they might just want to jump on here, and this might be a lead right here. So just staying attentive to all these things is super important. And then I have again Sales Loft here. We use Salesforce as well. This is just to kind of see where I'm at and track like how many meetings were set, this and that. See who's number one, who's booked the most meetings, who set the most meetings, how many proposals were sent out. And I like this little dashboard here because it shows the prior week as well. It's loading still, so it's probably why you don't see all the gauges. But this kind of helps us stay, on top of our game, keeps us on our toes. Then we'll see how much sales was generated. I guess in the past quarter, how many proposals week over week were sent out, and how many closed in one business was done, right? And then use all the other graphs, and then we can kind of compete with the other SDRs and just stay on top of the game. I'm constantly watching this because I want to make sure that I'm not falling behind and that I'm like number one, right? You need to be very competitive in the space, right? To kind of keep your job and even get promoted, right? Which is one of the reasons why I love about being an SDR. Let me transition back. So some final thoughts here. There's a lot of upside potential as an SDR, right? Because then you can get promoted to an account executive where you're just closing business, right? And it usually pays better, and there's like the commissions usually tend to be uncapped there, and there's a lot of upside potential, right? Because you got salary plus commissions. And I've only been in the SDR role for about like 3 months since April. It's July now. And I'm already talking with my VP about getting promoted to account executive. And not because I'm bringing it up, because he brought it up, right? And there's been times that I've booked so many meetings in a week that he sends me a Slack and he said, hey man, I'm really impressed, right? So that's because, again, I'm implementing a lot of what I'm sharing with you guys. I know people in other companies, and I'm just part of like, that people on LinkedIn hit me up asking me questions about like, how to be successful as an SDR. And like when I tell them to share their data with me, like how many calls and how many meetings set in this and that, it's just like they're so behind. And again, it's because they're not implementing the strategy. They're not coming in with the right mindset, tool set, and skill set, right? And they're just like think that doing more is gonna equate to success, and it doesn't. So there's a lot of upside potential here in the space. So it's just really about getting the right skills, becoming really good at it. It's simple, but it's not hard. It's simple, but it's not easy, if that makes sense, right? And again, it's just becoming really good at it and getting the right skill set. So if you're aspiring to be an SDR, break into tech sales, you hate the job that you're at, and you probably do hard labor. Like that was my story. And I'll share my story another time, but I come from the music business background. I was a professional musician, and though I was making great money, I was making over 6 figures in New York, being a full-time musician. Between all the work I was doing, at my top year in 2022, I was making $150,000 as a musician, right? But the one thing that I was kind of tired of is like, in order to make that, I had to constantly show up and make and put my income was tied to my time, right? So what I love about sales is that there's a lot of upside potential, and your income doesn't have to be tied to your time because you're using words and communication as a skill set to generate business. So if you want to learn and you want to get out of the job that you're in because you probably hate it, you want to break into tech sales, you want to become an SDR, or maybe you're an SDR and you're struggling, there's a course that I took that helped me get to become an SDR and helped me have success and kind of understand the basic fundamentals of the day-to-day of what an SDR does. It's Course Careers, right? So I'll put a link in the description. I paid Course Careers, and honestly, it taught me a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about, and it really prepared me to learn how to reach out, like what an ICP is, what a buyer persona is, and how to navigate the space of the day-to-days of an SDR. So if you want to become an SDR and you want to learn more, the link of the course is in the description. Check that out and hit me up. Let me know some thoughts. If you have any questions, put a comment in there. Let me know what I can answer. If you want to go through scripts and you want me to make a video about like sales scripts and value proposition, whatever question you have, feel free to drop a comment and ask it, and I'll make a video based on that. Peace.